golden couple Tanya Bushman and Michelle Barabé are the envy of their friends.
Lovey-dovey, huggy-kissy, holding hands, almost inseparable, I'd say.
They were the perfect couple.
But newlywed bliss will give way to jealousy and suspicion.
She thought, you know, perhaps he had been having an affair because he would just take off and go.
The only person that knew the truth about them was their closest friend.
I know that there were a lot of secrets.
Someone else? What does that mean?
Secrets that threaten to spill over into anger and violence.
Was it premeditated? Was it done in the heat of the moment?
It was basically suicide or murder.
Love may be blind and marriage bliss, but divorce is murder. "26-year-old hairdresser Tanya Bushman is looking for a fresh start in the vibrant city of Montreal, the cultural capital of Canada, where French and English traditions merge seamlessly. Tanya's 4-year marriage to a nightclub bouncer named Matt is over.
Their relationship didn't work out. I think it was just,
Matt?
you know, too young and maybe too much partying.
Matt?
Because that's always tough when you've got a partner working in a bar. And they got divorced.
Tanya is desperate to leave, but she has nowhere to go.
Tanya's mother was in Vancouver, the sister was in Calgary, and the brother was also out west.
She only makes it as far as the local bar, where she finds an unexpected solution to her troubles.
When Tanya and Michelle met, he was working in a bar as a bartender.
Hi.
Hey.
Can I get you?
Anything strong?
Okay, got it. Tough day at the office?
Yeah, I even have an office. I even have a home.
So, okay, what are you gonna do?
The bartender's name is Michelle Barabé, and as luck would have it, he happens to have just what Tanya needs.
Listen, I know this is crazy, but I have a spare room.
Before long, Tanya is moving out of Matt's place and into Michelle's.
He had dark hair, slim, well-dressed, immaculately groomed. He was, you know, an attractive man.
Michel was someone who liked to look good, dress well. He expressed himself well in French, English, and even Italian.
This is it?
Great, thank
room?
you.
Sure, hope you like it.
I do.
The two new roommates are as different as can be.
Your little girly touch in it, right?
I will.
Tanya was a very bubbly, lively, vivacious person. You know, when someone walks in the room and they have it, that was her. She walked in a room and everybody turned. She was just glowing.
Michel was a pretty private person, very reserved, very quiet, to himself a lot.
There's a reason Michelle doesn't open up to just anyone.
Michel lost his mother to cancer.
Dad, I'm home.
And shortly after his mother passes away, another tragedy.
His father committed suicide when he was 18. And he has said that he was the one that found his father.
It hurt him a lot, for sure, but already he was crying a lot over the death of his mother, which had also just happened.
Michelle also has to deal with type 1 diabetes, and it's a constant struggle.
He was young when it started. It was certainly something he had to get used to because he had to inject himself twice a day.
After her divorce, Tanya is committed to change. The hairdresser goes for a whole new look, and before long, a new man. Roommates become lovers.
They hit it off right away, and that was it. That was the start of their relationship.
They were very happy, very much in love with one another.
Forensic psychologist Dr. Brian Russell and psychotherapist Stacy Kaiser aren't as optimistic about the budding romance.
Tanya moved right out of a very troubled and tumultuous relationship into a brand new relationship, and that is never a good idea. First of all, she has not had a chance to grieve and heal from the first relationship. And secondly, a person needs to take some time to really reevaluate what it is they're looking for, what they need.
When people do that, it makes it more likely that they're going to repeat similar kinds of mistakes in the future. And I think that she puts herself in a situation that makes Michelle into sort of a rescuer. And I think that rescues are usually not good foundations for relationships.
From a romantic point of view, it sounds really wonderful. But from a practical point of view, I anticipate that there are going to be issues.
Still, 5 years later, the relationship is going strong. The couple looks for a bigger house so that Tanya can open her own hair salon at home.
Oh my God, I can do my salon in here. This is amazing. And I can put in the water supply and oh, this is amazing. I love this. This is exactly what I wanted. Thank you.
They bought my house. And we were friends ever since. We had similar energy and just so many things in common, like the love of the outdoors, love of animals, love of painting, of art.
Tanya also befriends one of her neighbors, Nadine Gregoire.
Going on and on.
I'd see her out every morning watering her hanging plants. And so one day I said, oh, why don't we go for a walk? And started a wonderful friendship.
Not long after the move, Michelle and Tanya begin another new chapter, marriage.
From what I understood, he swept her off her feet.
It was the start of their perfect life with the wedding and the new big house, and things were just, you know, so on track.
And there we go. Okay. Yeah, that's good.
It's gonna be great.
I can't wait.
It's gonna be great.
Despite Michelle's shyness, Tanya brings out the romantic in him.
Michelle and Tanya as a couple were always lovey-dovey, huggy-kissy, but almost inseparable, I'd say.
They had a lust for life. They were two people who loved life, who smiled at the world a lot. I think they were two good-looking people. That's also what attracted them to each other for sure.
Financially, things couldn't be better.
Tanya's career was, you know, fantastic. She was doing so well. She had to turn people away. Her hair salon was so successful, and people loved her.
And Michelle has big plans of his own.
Well, Michelle had always wanted to own a restaurant.
He was trying to reserve a little nest egg. It was gonna go towards a business and, you know, developing their future, whatever their future was gonna be.
They were the perfect couple. Two good-looking people, and the marriage seemed solid.
But just 2 years after their nuptials, Michelle is starting to show his obsessive side.
It's a water bottle.
It's an empty water bottle.
He'd complain about the house if she left a water bottle on the counter. Even if everything else was gone spotless, he would get upset if he got home and there was something left around.
Friends also noticed that Michelle has become standoffish.
I remember one day I went in to the house. Michelle walked by me and he didn't say anything. I had no idea that he could be like that, just cold and aloof. So I then saw a little bit of a different personality.
I really want a puppy. He doesn't want us to have a puppy. Don't worry about it.
She wanted a dog, and she said she was home alone, having people come to her house all day long, having strangers in her house sometimes. And she said, well, Michelle didn't want one because it was too messy.
Into the sky.
For Tanya, Michelle's dark side is becoming a bit of a drain.
Don't bring me down. Don't bring me down.
Oh, you're the most annoying thing in the world. You're always happy. You're always singing. Stop!
She would do things, you know, to be fun and spunky, and he would complain. He would, you know, always put her down like, oh, you know, you're always in a good mood. So she felt just picked on and Not appreciated, not like the way you should feel with your husband.
Tanya is really pretty much on 24/7, very, very energetic. And for someone like Michelle, this can be exhausting and frustrating.
It just becomes tiresome over a while to be, constantly trying to be something that you're not, day in and day out, week after week, year after year. It becomes something of a burden and people get resentful.
These two have been in a rhythm, things have been working. And now with his personality changing, it could either make Tanya resentful or could make her begin to feel like she has to walk around on eggshells in order to keep him happy.
Tanya goes to great lengths to repair the marriage.
She would try everything to make their relationship work and to, please her husband. And I remember when she told me they had a little fire going in the backyard, and she came out in a trench coat and, silky, slinky underwear underneath. And, she surprised him, and as I guess most men would probably have been quite pleased.
I don't really feel like it. I'll wait inside. Yeah.
Clearly, Michelle isn't like most men. And Tanya's about to face her biggest rejection yet.
It's 11:30 at night. I wonder where he's going,
She thought, perhaps he had been having an affair.
To the outside world, newlyweds Tanya Bushman and Michelle Barabé have it all. But behind closed doors, they've encountered a few snags, especially when it comes to sex. Tanya tries everything she can to spice things up.
I don't really feel like it. I'll wait inside. Yeah.
Michelle blames a medical condition for his flagging libido.
Because of his being diabetic, his motivation for sex wasn't strong. Basically, it wasn't there. Tanya was complaining about that he had a problem and she wanted more.
Apparently he had been checked, but he said it was just him. It was nothing related to her.
This lack of intimacy is taking its toll on Tanya's self-esteem.
I think it's normal that women have, some insecurities, especially if your husband doesn't want to touch you.
I think there was troubles in the relationship, closeness, passion. Tanya's a beautiful woman, and I think she was feeling not wanted.
Kids seem increasingly unlikely.
It's kind of hard to get pregnant when you're not intimate. She wanted to have a family. She wanted to have a dog, a family, a home, have children. These were things that were very important to her.
It was clear that Michel wanted to have children in his life as well. We never discussed how many, but it was clear that in his life he also wanted to know the joy of being a parent.
As the couple drifts further apart, Tanya becomes increasingly focused on achieving physical perfection.
3, 2, 1.
We progressed to 5Ks a day, 6 days a week, and started off doing some crunches. Eventually, we built to 300 crunches every 2 days, and we were doing about 30 kilometers a week walking.
Well, Tanya was a person that was, I think her appearance was very, very important to her.
When Michelle is not showing interest in Tanya sexually, it's probably quite invalidating to Tanya. And so one of the reactions that we see from her is this obsessive, almost compulsive working out. And it almost looks like what we see with eating disorders, where somebody who feels that they're lacking control over their life sort of tries to exert some control over what they can, which is their physical body.
Great night for movie night.
Tanya's efforts go beyond exercise.
I remember her saying something about her breasts, that she was flat. But one day she came over for a movie and she sort of took off a shirt and I went, whoa.
She had a breast implant operation. She wanted to look better.
Even though she was a very beautiful woman, she always wanted to be better, I guess, in her own eyes, more beautiful in her own eyes. Michelle never told Tanya that she wasn't beautiful or that she needed to do something to herself. It was Tanya who had this conflict with herself.
You're beautiful.
As Michelle becomes increasingly distant, Tanya relies more and more on her friends.
We went to church together, we took oil painting classes together, we played soccer together. Oh my God, we saw each other more than most married couples. I was filling a void that wasn't filled by her husband.
You're going on in that?
I'm going out dancing with Deb.
Tanya and I took dance lessons together. We took Latin dance together.
She was very, very attractive. She was a beautiful girl, and guys would just come over and say hi and how are you and talk and, you know, can I buy you a drink? And when we did go out and she got attention from other people, you know, she enjoyed it.
Meanwhile, Michelle has swapped his bartending gig for a waiter job at a breakfast restaurant. But at night, he disappears for hours on end.
Sometimes before going to bed at night, I'd see the car garage door opening up and, you know, a car coming out. I'd look at my husband and say, it's 11:30 at night, I wonder where he's going.
She would tell me all the time, like, oh no, he said he's going out for a drive in his car. So I know that there were a lot of secrets like that. Where was he? Where had he been? 4 or 5 hours gone. And it was never accounted for.
Tanya soon has a secret of her own. A man she meets on a beach in Cuba.
She went on vacation with her mother, and that's where she met him, and they hit it off just as friends. And he said that he was an art teacher.
Emilio Vitale also happens to be from Montreal, and when Tanya returns home, she and Deb enroll in his art class.
It was a phenomenal class. It was just absolutely great. He was charming, Tanya was charming, and I guess he just came in at a kind of a weak time in their relationship.
Tanya's crush on her painting instructor quickly develops into a serious infatuation.
Thank you.
She had told me that she was wanting to marry this art teacher, and she said that she was going to have a child with him. She could foresee this.
So I think Tanya was the type of person that needed love, that needed somebody to love her, and I got a feeling that Michelle wasn't able to give her that love, so she turned to another man.
It's a secret relationship, but not for long.
They were in a car kissing.
She goes, he's furious, he wants to kill me, he's so mad.
Three years after tying the knot, Tanya Bushman and Michelle Barabé's marriage is in trouble. Their sex life is in shambles, and Tanya has developed a crush on a handsome artist. But this budding romance is about to be exposed.
Thanks.
They went out for lunch, our teacher and herself. After lunch, they were in the car together.
They were in a car kissing.
By chance, Michelle pulls into the same parking lot on his way to the video store and ends up seeing the whole thing.
It's my husband.
What the hell, man? You need to come down. You need to come down.
Don't you dare touch me! Don't you dare! Get out of here! Get out of here! Hey, I'm talking to you, huh? How do you think it makes me feel when I see you kissing another man? Huh? What do you think?
I feel horrible. What else can I do?
Oh, I don't know. How about not putting your tongue down another man's throat, huh?
Oh.
How's that?
When they got home, obviously Michelle was rightfully angry. She ran in my door crying and said that it's over. And I said to her, you know, you're really lucky, because I'm telling you, if it was me, I would have punched you in the, you know, probably in the face. It was my wife, you know, or my husband.
I know. He's furious.
I got the impression that she didn't want to end it, but if something else ended it, then that was okay.
Marriage is a unique bond because it is a bond that we choose to make. It's not a bond that's formed by heredity or blood or anything like that. And what the bonding glue is trust. And so when Tanya violates that trust by going outside of the marriage for her physical affection, she's undermining the very glue that holds her relationship with Michel together.
Part of what's going on for Michel after catching this cheating scenario is now he's going to be walking around wondering what he hadn't seen, what else she's been doing. And this could really put him in a tailspin.
Hey!
For now, Michel takes comfort in the fact that Tanya's lover has been scared off.
Get out of here! Get out of here!
So that was the end of that. The art teacher didn't want to have anything more to do with that sort of situation.
Tanya returns home to Michel, who agrees to take her back.
They talked and, worked things out, I guess. She still loved Michel. Whether she was in love with him, I mean, that's questionable, but if it would work out and she could have her life with him, then yeah, she was willing to try. That's why she went to counseling. She was willing to work it out.
I think it's a terrific sign that Tanya and Michel have decided to go see a counselor. And as long as they can come up with some strategies and rules that their relationship can follow, trust can be rebuilt slowly, and there is a chance for them to survive as a couple.
From my perspective, the odds aren't great that Tanya and Michel are going to be able to recover the trust that they once had after Tanya's infidelity. However, one of the things that we know about couples counseling is that both members of the couple have to be there with the same intention. And what can happen sometimes, actually oftentimes, one member of the couple is truly there trying to put the relationship back together, while the other member may be there really to sort of help their spouse come to grips with the fact that they're no longer desiring that.
For this couple, counseling doesn't help.
I've apologized like a million times.
At one point, she got so upset that she stormed out of the room, which is really not like her, at least not the character that I know. I believe that was one of the last sessions of counseling. I don't think she really felt that there was much hope.
Are you kidding?
What?
Anything I do is not good enough for you.
You're not even trying.
Excuse me, I'm not even trying.
Tanya and I were on the phone, and I said, hey, how's it going, and this and that, and she says, oh, not good, and I could hear in her voice a little bit of quivering.
What?
You know, you just got up and
You're
you
just
left.
accusing me of everything. I've apologized. You know what? Here, you win.
What?
Here, there. We're done. You happy now?
She just told me that she threw back the ring, and it was very, she was upset.
After months of fighting, Michel and Tanya decide that what they really need to save their marriage is a fresh start in a new city, Calgary, Western Canada, over 2,000 miles away.
She was willing to do anything to make this marriage work. She didn't want it to end. So she figured a new life, she would be near her family. Also, Michel had a friend who lived in Calgary, one of his best friends. So they were going back to roots, they were going back to family.
I think they thought, okay, it's gonna work better.
They put their house up for sale. But just 4 weeks later, Tanya is having doubts.
The biggest struggle of the whole decision was, first of all, staying with Michel, because obviously the relationship wasn't idealistic, and leaving the clients that she had here in Montreal, having to start over.
It's a tough decision, one they won't have a chance to make.
They fell in love quick.
He was freaking out and crying, and that he'd never had such pain in his life.
Tanya Bushman and Michel Berube are planning a fresh start in a new city. But less than a month before they're scheduled to leave, a chance encounter changes everything.
It's the restaurant we wanted to go. He's doing an exhibition.
The restaurant owner had a lot of the art teacher's work in his restaurant, so we wanted to go see all the work of our art teacher, because the art teacher was very well known. He has expositions in New York, and he's phenomenally talented, so we wanted to go see his works.
Tanya has no desire to fan the flames of her former romance, but she does want to see his work. And when they do, it's another man who catches her eye.
We went to the restaurant and we met the owner that night.
It's a beautiful piece. Do you like it?
Yeah. We know the artist. He was our painting instructor.
Ah, so you're Deborah and Tanya.
Yeah.
Come with me.
Oh, okay.
The restaurant owner's name is Jerry Moretti, and he and Tanya hit it off right away.
When he met Tanya, it was fireworks. Love at first sight. He also had brought in his new puppy that he had bought, and it was the exact dog that Tanya wanted to get. So Tanya thought, oh my goodness, here's this charming man, a restaurant owner, with the dog that I want. Oh, and he just happened to be building his mansion on a waterfront property, and it was everything that, she could have asked for. We went out and she said, Deb, I don't want you to judge me. Please don't judge me. And I said, oh no, you had sex with him. And she said, no. But, I want to date him. I want to take this further.
Jerry also wants to take it further, much further.
And what would you say if I build a studio in my home for your hair salon?
Are you serious? Are you asking me to move in with you? Oh my God, yes.
He was offering her the world, really. After that, they still kept seeing each other, and it became more and more intense, apparently. They started going furniture shopping and all sorts of things.
They fell in love quick. He said there was nothing intimate, though, at that point. They kissed, but the relation was building. It was a strong relation building between them two.
One thing at a time. But we'll get there.
Just 3 weeks after meeting Jerry, Tanya makes a big decision.
Okay, I'm gonna move in with Jerry. But his house isn't available until March, so I was wondering if I could stay with you until then. Of course you can.
She told me, I am going to stay in Montreal. And we were happy, and we were hugging each other in the bathroom and jumping up and down, and all excited that, she was considering staying here.
But, nobody, and I mean nobody can know about this. I haven't told Michelle yet. Okay, amazing. This is gonna be great.
This is going to be a very upsetting bit of news for Michelle because he is planning their future. He thinks he's away from their problems and they're going to be moving forward, and he's feeling this huge sense of hope.
It looks to me like when Michelle caught Tanya and her art instructor in the car kissing, it was sort of a wake-up call where Michelle thought that he actually still did have time to put the marriage back together. And so now that he's going to find out that actually he was out of time and that Tanya either had already checked out or had since then checked out of the marriage, it's gonna be devastating.
What's going on?
We need to talk.
What's up?
I'm not going.
He was freaking out and crying, and that he'd never had such pain in his life, except for when he found his father dead, and that this brought up those sorts of pains and emotions.
I thought about this for a long time, and this is not easy for me to say, Michelle.
Come on.
And the next 2 nights, they were up and crying and arguing and fighting, so she hadn't slept for 2 nights. She came to me and she said, Deb, I'm absolutely exhausted. I haven't slept. Michelle and I spoke all last night. But last night he told me that it's okay, that I can stay in Montreal. He's going to go to Calgary, that he's accepted it, and that is okay.
So, did you tell him yet about Jerry? No, I can't do that. I don't want to hurt him like that.
The next morning, Tanya has her usual lineup of clients.
Tanya always confirmed her appointments for the next day. Now, this client was called the night before, saying, okay, your still appointment's still good. Yes, no problem, I'll be there. She went there around 8:30, 8:45. She knocked at the door, and there was no answer.
A little later, Deb stops by.
I went to her house to pick up her coffee tables and a couple of other things. Showed up at the door, there was no answer. All the blinds were closed.
Tanya?
She never has her salon blinds closed. Usually the front of the house, everything's always open. So I kept knocking, ringing the doorbell. And as I was standing there, I stepped back from the door, I just felt something go through me. It was like, I didn't see anything, but it was like, you know, when you see these black fogs or black mist that like go through someone, it felt like that. I couldn't breathe. It felt cold.
Michelle, something's wrong. Tanya's not answering.
I called him, but of course there was no answer.
Michelle can't get to the phone because he's at the hospital.
Michel came in with his car. He smashed into the emergency door and took Tanya in his arms.
Help! Help! Somebody help! Please! Please, help her! Help her!
He was then confronted by the security guard and the nurse and the doctor, and he said that she committed suicide.
As Michelle rushes in with her lifeless body, he says he found Tanya hanging.
The rope was still around her neck. The rope was never removed.
The hospital staff does everything they can to try and save Tanya, but it's too late.
When the body was brought to the hospital, she was pronounced dead immediately.
So I got to the hospital. A nurse met me at the door. She brought me to a doctor, and I said, okay, where's Tanya? And he says, I'm really sorry to tell you, but Tanya's passed away. Tanya's dead. And that's it. My legs gave out. I just fell to the ground again. I was like beyond belief.
Hello?
The next morning, I got a phone call from a neighbor. Hi, Nadine, it's so-and-so. I just want to let you know that the police is in front of Tanya's house. It's roped off. And I'm like, okay, but what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Well, apparently Tanya's dead. And I said, no, it can't be. She was here last night. I was in denial. No, sorry. It's not Tanya. I don't know who you're talking about, but it's not Tanya.
5 days later, Michelle and Tanya's mother, Nell, attend Tanya's funeral together.
Tanya's funeral was very, very quick.
She was cremated, and she was put in an urn.
I was devastated. I mean, I was crying. I don't know how many days I cried for. It was really devastating. She was my soulmate. She was my best friend.
Michelle appears just as devastated.
Michel, during the funeral, it was very clear that he was grief-stricken and that he was very shaken by what had happened.
Tanya's mother was holding Michelle's hand through the process.
At the end of the funeral service, Michel has a final message to deliver to his wife.
He wrote something on a card. He kept that hidden. When he arrived there, they put the urn inside, I guess, a box or whatever. He put that letter in there. Basically, they close it, and you're not allowed to open it anymore. It's kind of locked. And he refused to say what he had written on that letter.
What the guests don't realize is that the police are keeping a close eye on Michelle, and that there might be more to this suicide than meets the eye.
It's being treated now by the Montreal homicide squad as a suspicious death.
She had bruises all over her legs, her body, her stomach. Somebody hit her.
Michelle Barabé's wife, Tanya Bushman, has died in an apparent suicide by hanging. But investigators have reason to believe there's foul play involved. Friends and family don't realize that an autopsy had been conducted before the cremation. And it revealed more than just a strangulation injury.
It starts to come out, the mutterings, that it was not a suicide, that it's being treated now by the Montreal homicide squad as a suspicious death.
Tanya never talked about suicide. She was never depressed. She never said she did not like her life.
And she had a lot of injuries. She had internal injury. She had kidney injuries, stomach injury. She had bruises all over her legs, her body, her stomach. Somebody hit her in those areas.
The pooling of blood, known as lividity, shows that when Tanya died, she was not hanging from a rope.
Her lividity, the marks where she was positioned, the way she was positioned when she died, she was on her knees.
A close look at the crime scene confirms investigators' suspicions.
So we got warrants to search the house. As soon as I got in, then I noticed that rope. It was tied to a wooden post upstairs to downstairs. And when you pull it straight, it's 48 inches from the ground.
The rope was too long for Tanya to kill herself with it.
Tanya could not have been suspended in the air. Her legs would have touched the ground, so it would have been impossible for her to be hanging like that.
Could this be murder, poorly disguised as suicide? Police turned to Michel for answers.
This is his story, and also confirmed by co-workers that on the 20th of November, he woke up at 7:15. He said Tanya was sleeping, gave her a kiss goodbye, went downstairs, got dressed, and then left the house. Went right to work. He went to the dentist at 3 o'clock. He went to pick up some food right after, which was about 5 o'clock, 5:30. He arrived home. He saw her hung.
Tanya! Tanya!
He cut her down. He grabbed her, went to the hospital.
Since police know Tanya could not have committed suicide, they know Michel is lying. He's now the prime suspect in her murder. They are eager to know the contents of the secret note that Michel put in the urn.
So I went to get a warrant, and I opened the urn itself. I was looking for a smoking gun.
Instead, he finds a love letter.
I know it was a love note that said, Tanya, for you, I will always love you. You're the woman of my life, and I will always have love for you.
It's unthinkable that Michel could have done this. A, fight with his wife, and B, carry out that final act. So for me, it's crystal clear. It can't be Michel, so it has to be someone else.
Investigators dig deep, looking for any other possible suspects.
I met with all the witnesses during my investigation. So I met with Nadine, her best friend. I met with Debbie, her best friend. We had statement taken down. Maybe a week to 2 weeks later on, I received a call from Jerry telling me that he was Tanya's new boyfriend. And that kind of shocked me. I said, oh, okay.
There is no evidence that Tanya's boyfriend is involved in her death. Could it have been an intruder?
He goes to work at 7:30. Some other guy comes in from 7:30 to kill her and blame it on him. It made no sense at all.
There is no evidence to suggest the presence of anyone else in the home.
It was basically suicide or murder by Michel. There was no other way.
Police need hard evidence to support their case, and that's just what forensic analysis starts to reveal.
Now, Michel said he never went upstairs to try to untie the knots. Now, on those knots upstairs, we found DNA. We had Michel's DNA and we have Tanya's DNA. When you fight with somebody and you hit her and you scratch her, you have a transfer of DNA on your hands. So basically, he had Tanya's DNA in her hands already. So when he hung her and he tied the rope on the top, He tied it, and her DNA and his DNA were then upstairs.
If it really was a suicide, Michelle's reaction is hard to explain.
He didn't call 911, and he didn't remove the noose from her neck, so it was still embedded in her skin. The doctor from the Emerge said in 22 years of being an emergency room doctor, he's never seen that.
Please!
He said that it would be the fastest way to save her. Well, I think the fastest way to save her would be to cut the rope off.
When it's the second time you find a person who's that important in your life in the same position, I can't believe somebody would react in a normal way.
Come on, can we just talk about this, please? Let's just figure it out, huh?
The traces of DNA convince the police that Michelle was responsible for Tanya's death, and the motive seems obvious.
I can't do this anymore.
What do you mean you can't do this anymore? What does that even mean?
I think she told them she had another boyfriend, and she was leaving him for another man, and that's what he couldn't accept.
She wasn't afraid of Michelle because he loved her. He loved her too much. She says, he's never gonna hurt me. He loves me too much. I think that's the problem. He loved her so much that nobody else could have her.
There's someone else. Sorry.
Talking about there's someone else. There's someone else? What does that mean?
They got into an argument. They got into a fight, physical fight.
What's the matter with you? Hey, what the hell's wrong with you? Who is he? Who is he?
On his face, he had injuries. Somebody had scratched him. She was still a pretty strong woman. So that's why he gets hit. She hits him. He hits her. I think it happens upstairs on the second balcony.
Who is he? Huh? Who is he?
I believe he threw her down the stairs. She got her head knocked, and now she's unconscious. With all the injuries she has internal injury. She has a huge bump, 4 inches on her head and the back. Now he's saying, oh my God, I killed her.
You all right?
She probably would look like somebody that's dead and not breathing, but we know that she was still alive at that point. And I think he tried to fake it to say that I'm gonna go in jail for the rest of my life. I have to do something here. So he staged a hanging. He took the rope, tied it upstairs, went downstairs, tied it around her neck super tight. He tied her upstairs, tried to pull her up, couldn't pull her up enough. Only put her up 48 inches, tied it, and then said, now I'm gonna go leave it's 8 o'clock, I'm gonna go leave for work.
Tanya is hung by a knotted rope that she could never have tied herself.
The knots that were made were so tight that Tanya would never have been able to make a second knot after the first. It was so tight that the air would have been cut off.
On May 29, 2003, Michel is charged with the murder of his wife, Tanya.
He swore it was not him.
I thought for a long time Michel could not do it, but when I saw him in court and I saw he was so disconnected, I guess that's what made me decide, oh my God, it's actually possible. He actually killed her.
When somebody like Michelle rescues somebody like Tanya, they have a profound sense of entitlement that the other person then remain obligated to them in all kinds of ways for life. And if that person at some point decides to separate, move on, whatever, the rescuer can feel completely ripped off and completely entitled to hold that person at whatever cost.
Very few people believe the idea that you can love someone and still hurt them. You can love someone and still want them to be out of your life. It's something that I do believe has happened here. I do believe he loved her, but I believed he loved her so much he couldn't bear her to leave him. And that was the reason that she ended up dead.
The jury agrees and convicts Michel of first-degree murder.
And let's say he would just thrown her down the stairs, and after a fight, it would have been involuntary manslaughter or murder two, which is less. But because of the fact that he staged everything, then the judge has no choice but to find him guilty of murder one.
Michel, who still protests his innocence, was sentenced to 25 years in prison.
I mean, Michel did a horrible thing. Her friends, her family, he robbed everyone of this wonderful person. But he's also suffering. I feel sorry for him. I feel bad for him.
The family to this day, as far as I know, still, they don't hate Michel. They just wish that he'd admit to killing, to confess to killing their sister, their daughter. That's all they want. And I think everybody wants that kind of closure.
She was a ray of sunshine. She was a beautiful person. She gave me a lot of strength. She was my rock.
She was my soulmate. She was my best friend. You know, I remember sitting, waiting to be interviewed by the police, and this was at the police station. And I remember thinking, oh my God, I've got to call Tanya. Oh, no, kind of can't call her. That went on for like at least a year. Got to call Tanya, and then I realized that no, you know, she's not there anymore.